she was at the airport.
Yo.
She checked in a luggage. And of course, her egotistical ass needed to write on the bag Natalie Nunn. And sure enough, they stole her bags. And in those bags,
mad fucking shit.
they stole mad purses,
Louis,
mad purses, 3 chains, including the CEO baddie's chain. Mm-hmm. Gone.
That's a sign.
Gone. That's God.
That's God, right? You the devil, bitch.
This the kind of beat to go, this the kind of beat to go, this the kind of beat to go, rock, top, top.
Welcome back to another episode of the Petty Headquarters. I'm your host, Tiana Locke, and this is
Jesse Strange.
And we are back at it again with another motherfucking video.
Another video, baby.
And today we are going to be talking about a few controversial points and topics today.
Yeah, we'll be touching on the baddies realm. So we're going to talk about Chrisean.
Right.
We're going to talk about Natalie Nunn, what happened with her missing luggage.
Right.
But then we're also going to get into the assassination of the United Healthcare, whatever.
CEO.
Yes.
The CEO of United Healthcare.
Yep.
So let us just dive into it.
Yeah,
if
buckle up.
Right. If you guys are new, we are a pop culture podcast. You know, we cover Zeus Network, celebrity drama, you know, all of that jazz. You know what it is. So yeah, I mean, saddle up and get ready for today's weekly dose of mess because it's going to be very interesting, especially since we're talking about Chrisean, and you know how Jesse feels about Chrisean. And listen, I feel the same way. It's just so, you get so passionate.
I do.
It's so.
I get upset.
I'm sorry. It's low-key funny, but it shouldn't be funny because this is real shit.
But yeah, so guys, if you guys are new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, show some love, comment below. We love to see you guys. We just saw that we got somebody from North Carolina, you know, we got Australia, we got all these people out here. So
comment where you're from.
Yes.
Honestly, at this point.
It's cool to see people from all over the world. So thank you for coming to the headquarters. And yeah, let's jump right into it.
All right. So coming up first is Chrisean and the news of her baby circulating the internet because a college professor decided to use pictures of her son as an example to demonstrate what happens to your kids when there is fetal alcohol syndrome. So with that being said, that circulated the internet. I guess some student that was in the class took a picture and was just like, I couldn't believe this. She had posted a tweet, which we do have the tweet. She said, I wish I was effing joking, right? And someone else said, no, this is the same person. They said they teaching us about fetal alcohol syndrome with Chrisean Rock baby in this class. So a lot of people saw that on the internet and, you know, there were some different opinions. Some people felt that, oh, how dare the teacher? And some other people felt like, I mean, well, she's a public figure. This is public information. This is what she shows online. So, I mean, what's any different from using a picture on Google as opposed to using her because she's all over Google?
Yeah. And then what drove me crazy was, oh, she should sue the school. Oh, this is a lawsuit waiting to happen. Y'all really be throwing the word lawsuit around like
real.
Y'all got the bread to fucking do a
For
lawsuit.
real,
It's kind of crazy.
For real.
It's very
For
ignorant.
real. It's telling like the mindset of people that say those things for sure.
Exactly. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But I guess I was reading the comments because I was curious to know what the community thought about this whole situation. And it's interesting to just see how much more people felt, I guess, inclined to defend Chrisean again, which is like crazy to me because, you know, at the end of the day, y'all was the same people eating it up when she was promoting her new show on Zeus Network, you know, and saying that she's just troubled and giving her excuses. But at the end of the day, I don't I don't feel bad, and everybody likes to use the kid as, oh, leave the kid alone. The kid, we are sad for him. We're not making fun of him. They're not making fun of him. They're teaching. They're trying to educate. Hello, education.
Right.
If only people got more education on things, you know, they would get less offended and actually take action on things or not support certain things, which is why, honestly, I didn't even want to cover this topic. You know, we had to go back and forth on this.
I know. Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't like... Honestly, in the beginning, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, I feel guilty because I was almost making excuses for Chrisean too in the light of its content, right? This is her truth. And it's true, right? Because there is truth to that, but there are consequences, just like anything else in life. And I hate when people try to say, well, I didn't know. Ignorance to the law does not make you free from the consequences of the law, right? So it's the same thing here. Just because it was for content and just because you got money for it doesn't make it right, doesn't make it anything. And I just feel guilty because now you have this kid, this baby who is incapable and was hurt literally by his mother. And everybody's just using an excuse because what? Because she's Chrisean Rock. That's why.
And I guess also because motherhood, because I guess when it comes to, oh, you're a mom, people like to look at that as that means more than actually doing the act of a mother. So, you know, people think it's enough to just be a mom these days. Like, no, you actually have to put in the work to be a mom. And I know there are some people that say, oh, Chrisean's a great mom, right? Like even Smiley, for example, when we interviewed her, she said she's such a great mom, you know, and I don't know her personal experiences, obviously, when with her. Chrisean's still young. She's still learning, which is what a lot of people say. But honestly, from the way I think about it, and I've always said this, but I feel like at this point I stopped caring because I kind of went into this mode of she don't care, so why should I care? So, you know, and it is fucked up, the situation that the baby is in. It's giving you had this child again. The same reason why these young women have these kids. Like, why did you have this kid? Because you were tired of 1, getting abortions, or 2, you wanted someone to love you, or 3, you wanted Blueface to stay. All selfish reasons why you should not be having this kid. And now you have this kid. You don't even know how to take care of this kid. You can't even take care of yourself. And again, sure, you're still growing. You're very young. You're still learning. But there are just certain things you don't do. And going back to the show, which she had on Zeus Network, they did record her, you know, drinking, smoking while she was pregnant. So the fact that everyone seems to have memory loss now, to see why the teacher is even using her baby as an example. Like, there's a reason for that, because this is what happens when you do those things.
And also, I'd like to say that anybody who has never had the privilege of actually going to college, because there are people who actually cannot afford it, which is totally understandable. You know, in school, especially when it comes to psychology, science, biology, all these realms of studying that requires experiments and actual studies, like deep research, they use these things because at the end of the day, when you diagnose somebody with something, there are common factors in all of them. So obviously, yes, there was no official diagnosis to the kid, but that's because Chrisean doesn't want to diagnose him. Not because it doesn't exist. It's because if she actually goes and diagnoses him, that's solidifying the harm that she has done to her child. You know what I'm saying? She's one of those people that will just avoid the doctor because it's not real until, you know, it's in her face. And that's just really what it is. So just because it wasn't diagnosed doesn't mean anything. It just means that the mother wasn't good enough to bring their child to diagnose them. Those are the same people that deny any type of help to their kids when they have ADHD. Oh, they don't have ADHD. They're fine. They're just hyper. No, they don't know. And some people learn when it's not as severe, they learn how to maneuver around it. I know people personally, you know, friends who literally said, I've learned to maneuver with my ADHD. Wish my mom would have brought me, but you know, it is what it is. That doesn't mean that you don't have it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And honestly, at the end of the day, I feel like some people shouldn't be parents, but hey, what can I say? I can't take away your right to give birth and to have kids, but to be honest, what do you think about there being a psych evaluation of like mothers before they even decide. That would be wild, right?
Nah,
Like,
that would be wild.
that would be wild. But at the same time, I feel like, wouldn't it be a little helpful?
No, because nobody did that to our parents, right? I think that at the end
And
of
maybe
the day,
they should have.
Really? You think so? I think some people figure it out.
Of course, people figure it out, but I just wonder, like, would certain things be avoided if, again, going back to those people that really just are not meant to be parents? And I'm not saying Chrisean is one of these people,
Right.
even though, yeah, I think that she shouldn't have had this kid. I don't
Right.
think she's like, mentally insane or anything, but there are certain people that honestly have kids and abuse their kids and are mentally unsound. And I feel like with a psych evaluation, it would help to avoid those issues. But at the same time, it wouldn't, because what if then they get smart to avoid, passing? They'll be able to pass the psych evaluation. I think
it's deeper than that, though. I feel like, I'm big on body rights and your own rights to do whatever you want, which is
why it's like very controversial for me to even say something like that.
Right. And also, who's the psych? A guy, a male, fuck that.
It doesn't have to be.
No, but I just feel like at the end of the day, right, I don't think that matters, because it doesn't stop anybody from anything, because just because you have a good mom doesn't mean you have a good father. Right. It doesn't. And also there's a little bit of entitlement there, because if you really think about it, all these children that are being born in third world countries don't get the privilege to choose who their parents are either, and the life that they have. So it's like, I feel like it's a very in a perfect world.
Right.
But I don't think it's
wouldn't
realistic.
even work out. It really wouldn't even work out.
Honestly, the only reason why that would be pushed is for insurance scams. Let's be real.
Damn.
So
and everything always goes back to money, yo.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to
stealing and just stealing.
Isn't that crazy?
People.
That's
right?
the topic of this, I guess.
Right. How we just go dive into it.
Yeah. So that's my opinion on that. I think that people, and I don't validate other people's opinions, like other mothers saying, oh, but she's a good mother. I don't care, because at the end of the day, a good mother would look at that as red flag. So if you think that she's a good mother, maybe you know her personally, you know what she's doing now.
Right.
That doesn't mean she wasn't good back then. And yeah, maybe she's trying to make up for her wrongs, because supposedly now she found God. And but that doesn't mean that she didn't hurt her child.
Right. So someone commented on this whole tweet, and they said, what did they say? Y'all yelling Sue, but she used her own child's face as a public figure, which def gives fair use. So what are your thoughts on that comment?
Again, this goes back to the same thing. Suing is stupid. Like,
right. But that's exactly what this is saying. Like, you use your own child as a public figure anyway. So what's the problem when someone else does it? You brought your child to Zeus to confront your sister about some deeply traumatic shit that honestly shouldn't have been on TV.
Do you know how many kids' faces or just people you see in textbooks all the time where they're just there, and you don't see those people talking about, oh, sue this, sue that. Again, it's a rich people. First of all, it's an ignorant thing to say, but also it's the truth, right? You don't want to get criticized for it, but you sold your kid for money. So what is the problem now where you're getting the criticism for it? If you didn't want nobody in your business, you shouldn't have taken that fat check.
Right. And then on top of that, you made a whole Instagram for your baby too, talking about your baby's good. He got 2 million followers, like all this stuff. You made your baby a public figure before your baby was even your baby.
And also, I can't stand when people say that, oh, he's taken care of and shit like that, because money doesn't make anything better. Right? It makes it easier, but it doesn't make it better. I also want to say before we move on is that people say, oh, she could have changed, or she made a mistake. She was young. Okay, right? That's fine. That's acceptable. But so did Nicki Minaj's husband, right? That's the same excuse that they use for him. She uses for him. That doesn't mean that there are not consequences to your actions that you forever have to live with. You show up on a database. That is a consequence. Whether you were young, whether you were dumb, whether you got arrested before, you live with those consequences. And this is another one of those examples of, yeah, sure. Back in the day, maybe Chrisean was so clouded with whatever situation she had going on that, she made these mistakes, which I can empathize with 100%. But that doesn't mean that you can just make it all go away now. Like, you forever have all that information on the internet. You forever fucked up your kid. And honestly, I think people would respect it more if you just own up to it instead of denying it. Because I feel like denial is another form of, like, you haven't grown. Yeah. You haven't grown and actually, like, manned up or, like, really, like, owned up to whatever you've done in life.
Right.
And how do you heal from that? I mean,
but we still see the same behavior even with her little sit down with Tasiki.
True.
Running away, not trying to talk about anything, not trying to face it, trying to blame it on, oh, this is the problem with Black families, but you're still perpetuating the same fucking stereotype.
Yep.
So you already know, and she already don't like to go to therapy from what we've seen on season 1 of Crazy in Love. They decided to bring in a therapist, whether it was fake, staged or not. You could see how uncomfortable she was with even opening up and even talking about, she's like, I don't like therapists. They get in your head. And it's the same shit. Like, oh, I don't need to go to therapy. I don't need to do this. So going back to what you were saying about, oh, my child don't got ADHD. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she has that same mentality, which is why we're seeing what we're seeing. And she just keeps denying it. I don't know why when it was caught on camera.
Exactly. And I fuck with Smiley, I fuck with DJ Sky, I fuck with Tasiki, whatever. I fuck with all of them. I got nothing personally against any of them. But at the end of the day, you got to have friends that really call you out on your shit. And I feel like I'm that friend that's going to say, I feel like they not saying what needs to be said. Like, yeah, she may be a good mom now, but is she? But like, I feel like y'all just saying that she's a good mom because y'all love her, because y'all know what she been through in life. Right. So you have that, like, oh, it's just been rough for her. You can empathize a little more than a stranger can. But also, I feel like there's just too much of that, excuses given to these people just because they've been through some shit. Like, you're supposed to kind of do better.
Right. Like, you're supposed to want to do better for your kid. And I think that lack of initiative on her part is what upsets me. Like, what you went through. Mm-hmm. What you don't want your kid to go through. And it's again, falling into the stereotype, contributing to the problem, perpetuating the same thing that was probably done to you by your own mom. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. But I did, now that you mentioned these friends and how they love her, let's just go right into this whole news about her friend coming out and telling the world that, yeah, she lied about sleeping with Offset.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's about.
So here is the clip. Because first of all, and this is the same girl that attacked Bo Vicky on Baddies East and jumped Tasiki with Marsh. So let's get into it.
That's when I was like, we committing adultery now? Oh, girl. That's not God. That's how I knew how to cut people off. And I didn't even go that day because she kept saying, I'm gonna go da-da-da. And I was like, no, why? I love Cardi. Why would you do that? No. And then what the fuck happened? Bitch, we all looking for Chrisean and this bitch over there. And she left us. And I was like, damn, you left us for some dick that's not even yours and that's married? That's crazy. But yeah, I don't hang out with homewreckers. I don't hang out. And then you was a homewrecker. So it's like, you try to homewreck Cardi B shit because you want to be like her. So it's like, what did you say? You left your earring or your ring on purpose so Cardi could see it? Oh yeah, that's when I went all out.
So that is a small clip of her basically talking about Chrisean allegedly sleeping with Offset, how those rumors were true and she knew about it and all of this stuff. And during that time, Cardi was going through a lot with Offset. She was upset with him. She was actually crashing out on the internet. Like, you keep playing with me, and then even admitted that she fucked Takeoff. Like, it was like a whole thing on the internet that was just out of control. At that time, it was just numerous fights, and she just kept talking about, I deserve better, but then popped up with another baby. So I don't know what that's about, but I just know that when the rumors were happening, it was around the same time they were having issues. I don't know if this is true. I don't know anything. This is all alleged. But my thing is, first of all, weren't you getting paid by Chrisean $1,000 an hour just to watch junior and just to be around and just to do basically everything that Chrisean wants you to do. Like, weren't you getting paid that much? And I know because Chrisean said it on her live. So now it just makes me wonder. And, I hate to be that person, but you were someone's friend, right? And now all of a sudden you seem to not be friends anymore. Now you're not getting paid anymore. And now you want to come out and say these things. And I wonder, is this true, or what is she doing? Is she actually airing out something that's true, or is she just talking for clout? Even though I hate to say that, but like, is this what you're doing?
I think, in my opinion, what happened was they got into a fight. She's no longer on the payroll, and she's airing out her secrets, right? And I feel like those are those people. She says, I don't want to be friends with a homewrecker, yet Chrisean was a homewrecker with Jaden and Blueface. So I'm confused what you're talking about. It's giving you're not getting paid no more. Y'all got into a fight.
Right.
And now you want to act like, again, you're holier than thou, that you're doing the right by the people by talking about I'm not friends with homewreckers. You're a fucking dumbass bitch. That's just what I got to say about her friend. She's not a friend.
She's not. She never was. And honestly, to me, I didn't give a fuck about anything she was saying, whether it's true or not. If you could even be friends with Chrisean that did all the fucked up shit that she did, that says a lot about you and what you attract and who you are as a person. Because I don't know if I could be in close quarters. Like, yeah, maybe like a distant friend, like only when we go out, a party friend because you lit at parties, but like a close friend where you're there with her all the time, with her baby, with her family. I'm not doing that. Like, that's just too much, especially knowing all of the horrifying things that she's done.
And she attracts a lot of
bad
a
lot
energy,
of that.
like,
a lot of it.
A lot of drama.
Right. That's why a lot of shit be happening to her. She really attracts that because she is that.
Right.
So it's just like you were around that. So what does that say about you too? You are that too. You fucking beat on another bitch on TV for Chrisean because guess what? You getting paid $1,000 an hour, right? You getting paid mad money to even be around her. So at the end of the day, all of this was about the money for you. You were never her friend. You never gave a fuck. And now all of this is coming out, which I don't even give a fuck about.
Honestly, and I want to touch on this because if that is true, that Offset fucked Chrisean, I think that's like, it says a lot about the problems with these men, right? Like, and this is with all due respect. Chrisean is a very pretty woman. I'm not saying she's not, but she has a lot of issues. And I feel like when you're especially past 30 years old and you're looking at her, you're like, yeah, she good looking, but she's crazy. And you don't want to, imprint yourself on a crazy, especially if you're married. It goes to show the mindset of Offset. The fact that you're willing to fuck Chrisean Rock. That's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Having Cardi B at that?
Yeah.
It goes to show you that these men are never satisfied, that people are never satisfied. I'm not going to say men. People are never satisfied. It's never enough. Imagine having Cardi B, and that's not to say Cardi ain't problematic herself, okay?
Right.
But it is true. Offset has a cheating problem.
Right.
A huge cheating problem.
Right.
And they're just toxic. I don't understand this Hollywood idea of wanting a high profile relationship with these people, knowing damn well y'all all cheat on each other, knowing damn well y'all all, it's weird. It's weird. And I don't give a fuck about Cardi B crashing out on the internet because she is also a bitch from the Bronx and you still have that in you. So it's like, and you still chose to have the baby with him despite everything. So at the end of the day, I don't really care if whatever intentions her ex-friend had. But I do believe that this is true. In my opinion, I believe it's true because there was rumors about it. And
even Blueface was saying it.
Right. I do believe it's true. And I do want to remind people, because everyone's so quick to get on the girls. It's really the men.
Yeah.
Because y'all want to say, oh, Chrisean was filming on Zeus. Well, guess who gave her the platform? Guess who gave Chrisean the platform to fucking smoke and drink while getting paid for it?
Exactly. And even when DJ Academics confronted Lemmy about that,
he denied it. Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Y'all want to focus so much on the women, but let's remind ourselves who's the real, who's equally accountable. And that is the men as well.
Right. One thing too, you said he denied it. I feel like when we watched that interview with DJ Academics actually trying to press Lemmy about why he did that because the people want to know, right? He went around it. He never like fully answered it. He never fully said yes or no or, gave a reason. He kind of went around it and said, we want to show people the raw. Mm-hmm. We want to show people, the real. And that's what he said. And I feel like that in itself is basically saying, yeah, he put it out there because, true. He don't care. It's content. Right. But obviously he's going to make it sound all cute. Oh, we show people raw, but look what Oxygen did. Look, and yes, Oxygen has done some fucked up stuff to these girls on Bad Girls Club, but it's the same shit that you're doing. It's literally the same shit.
Yeah. And I do want to touch on Mr. CEO himself, because I did fall for that back in the day where, he, to understand where he's coming from. And I did say that I would be the same. But now I guess reality kicks in. It's nice to hypothetically speak for people, but then when you see the real life consequences of things, that it really does, especially if you have a heart, there is a change of heart. I didn't watch the full interview, but I don't know if you saw Lemmy go on that interview with that pastor. Whatever, he was confronting him about how he portrays the Black community. But I want to say all that to say that I thought it was interesting that when Lemmy was being confronted by the pastor, he couldn't make eye contact. He was literally looking in the distance, head down. He used the excuse that he was with Dr. Trevor and that he just got his teeth done and that's the reason why he was looking down. But literally there was no eye contact. And I swear all I could think, I'm so sorry for people who are tired of me saying it, but literally that's the devil. That's the devil. He couldn't look at the pastor's eyes, bro.
Yo, but what does getting your teeth done have to do with eye contact?
Exactly. He said his head was down because of that, but your head could be down and still look up.
Yeah, your eyes can still move.
Yeah,
even when you're paralyzed, your eyes will not all the time, but most of the time they can still move. So
yeah,
I'm confused. That's so weird.
As I said, literally all I could think, that's the devil. Yo, he's burning in that chair. He couldn't answer. And of course, he used the same excuse again.
Why doesn't he just own it at this point, though?
Because he likes to portray this nice guy.
He's a nice guy. That's the problem. Like, at this point, just own it. The same way Natalie is a piece of shit and she fucking owns it. Just own it at this point.
Exactly. And I think the reason why is because he's soft in the inside. He can't really handle criticism because he's never dealt with bad bitches up until he's become, who he is now.
Which is what Anna Mac said.
I believe it.
Yeah, I know me too, for sure. He looks like the type.
I know personally guys like that.
And he moves like a whole female. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Well, speaking of Natalie Nunn and the CEO, this goes right into the next topic, which is what happened to her, where she was at the airport. Yo. She checked in a luggage. And of course, her egotistical ass needed to write on the bag Natalie Nunn. And sure enough, they stole her bags. And in those bags,
mad fucking shit.
They stole mad purses,
Louis,
mad purses, 3 chains, including the CEO baddie's chain. Mm-hmm. Gone.
That's a sign.
Gone. That's God.
That's God. Right? You the devil, bitch. Let me stop.
No, I mean, what are your thoughts on whatever happened with that?
When I first saw it, I was confused at first. I thought she was like joking, and then I realized like, oh shit, like this really happened to her. It's fucked up, but at the same time, I don't give a fuck because you know who you are. You know who you are. You know you're a public figure. You know you're traveling. You know what it is. You're always quick to say, people want to use me for clout. Right? People want to use me for clout. So then you should use that knowledge and maneuver yourself a certain way. And yeah, we can't always avoid that, right? But why the fuck are you being so careless?
Well, my thing is, why is Natalie Nunn on your bag? On your luggage?
Why are you being so careless?
Bag. It's like
you might as well give your number out at this point.
She wants it just demonstrates the ego radiating off of her fucking pores. You know what I mean? Because and that's a learning lesson. I'm pretty sure she learned her lesson now.
Yeah.
Sure. There are consequences to being as big as you are. Right. But also, I mean, I do feel bad. It does suck, but you reap what you sow. And it's the same thing with again, I never wish bad on anybody, but with Tommy too, right? You reap what you sow.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that people can't be in abusive relationships. They can't act. I'm not trying to say that everything is on them per se, right? But I feel like when you're not a good person and when you've reached that level of, I don't know, there's success, and then there's people who want that validation, like you driving in the cyber trucks, you promoting this rich lifestyle,
right.
you having the just being so flashy. There's so many
Even
rich
when they
people.
went to DR and how flashy they were around
Correct.
all these people, like, you know, that's dangerous, right?
Exactly. It's very out of touch.
Out of touch with reality for sure.
Right. And it's like, can you really blame them? Because you're so caught up in it for so long. You're constantly filming baddies. You see how she's changed, right? You think she's acting like baddies is being filmed 24/7 now.
Yeah.
Because you get lost in that. And that's the same thing with Anna Mac. You start to see these personalities get lost and can't tell the difference between reality TV and reality. Like, you really can't. And I think these are these moments that, honestly, you know, when things get so big, there's always a fall. There's always a fall. That's just how it is. That's life. With anything in life, you remember me when you hear this. Everything, nothing lasts forever. Nothing good everything that goes up must come down. That is nature's law.
Right.
So when you're so big and you're so careless, you're gonna have a learning lesson where God teaches you better calm the fuck down. And this is, I think, is one of those lessons. Like,
Right.
you know, yeah, you're rich, you're doing big, mate. You can't be moving like you used to. You shouldn't be as flashy as you are. Or if you're gonna be flashy, don't put your fucking name on it. Like Nicki Minaj does it all the time, where she literally uses other people's names to get deliveries for food and Uber.
Right.
Why? Because it's Nicki Minaj.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, you would think Natalie would know this, but I mean, I guess not.
You know, you're not. You don't really know that, though, when you're grown. You know, I feel like when you're so caught up in a lifestyle, you don't realize how big shit gets. Like, you feel your money feels how big it gets, but you don't realize the impact you have. Like, and I'm not saying that Natalie doesn't realize
Natalie
the impact.
is always so quick to be like, I've been doing this shit for 10, 15 years. Okay, so why are you acting so reckless and careless?
Yeah, again, ego will cloud someone. Look at Diddy. How much ego, you know, and power. They think they can just do anything and get away with everything, which is why I think it's interesting. Natalie's always posting online, and it's been 2 days since she's posted. Nothing on her story.
Because she's trying to figure that shit the fuck out.
And I think that, you know, whether she gets her stuff or not back, I do hope she does, or gets some partial stuff back. I don't know.
That's a lot of money, to be honest, that was like basically stolen from her.
To be honest, right. The reality of it is, outside of that world that we watch, the real economy is struggling. There are a lot of people who are hurting right now.
Even people with money still talking shit and complaining about the fucking economy at this point.
There's a lot of foreclosures. There's a lot of crashes. People are losing a lot of things. So, you know, being flashy during these times, especially because you're not realizing, because you're so fucking rich, you don't even see the impact of the real economy. You know, maybe this is something that needed to be done. And I don't know if you're going to get all your stuff back, because people, and this isn't to justify that. I think it's fucked up that people do this. I would never want that on anybody. But, you know, stop being fucking flashy. Like, you know, especially during hard times. This isn't 2019 when everybody had fucking stimulus money. 2020 when everybody had, you know, money to throw at meme coins.
Oh my God.
Don't get me lecturing about economy, yo. But, you know, and that's that. You know, that's that. I think it's just a learning lesson, I think. And she's putting out $150K reward for people who are going to speak up. You realize that what's in that bag is way more than $150K.
Right.
Way more. They must have stolen at least close to like $500K. And I don't know.
Her shit is gone.
You think? Yeah.
It's already being sold.
It's out the country.
Done.
Because it's one of one.
It's done. With her name on it. That's
probably
custom.
Probably went with the assassin that fucking killed the CEO.
Yo,
he took that shit and bounced out the country already.
Oh my God.
I mean, it kind of falls into what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, it does.
So
if
y'all are not from New York, hello, welcome. This is a New York-based podcast.
Right.
And what happened here the other day was fucking wild. Y'all must have heard it. And if you haven't, well, here it is.
Buckle up.
The United Health CEO.
United Healthcare
CEO was assassinated, was shot and killed on Wednesday, December 4th. And the only reason I know that it was because it was the day of the tree lighting, the Christmas Rockefeller tree lighting. Okay, that morning at 6:44 a.m., he was on his way to the conference and somebody shot him with a silencer. On those bullets was engraved, delay, defend, depose. And then
dispose.
No, it's depose.
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 Oh, okay.
Yep.
Depose.
Caught on camera. One witness. You see on the video. The witness see what's happening, and she fucking ran. Which my heart goes out to that lady because I would be fucking traumatized.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's the time I'm walking to work. Okay.
No, literally.
And that's like 52nd Street. If y'all not from the city, this is a very highly like safe area. This is the rich area. This is where you go to work. You don't have to worry in the morning, especially when it's dark, anybody popping up. There are barely no homeless people around. Like, it's safe as fuck. And the fact that this happened, literally, I like right by my job, it's crazy. People on the internet are saying it's a revolution.
I mean, can you blame them? Okay, so United Healthcare has always been a controversial insurance company for many reasons. A lot of people, especially since this from last year, have been complaining about them. I think they merged with a different company recently. I forgot the other name of the other company that they merged with. But ever since then, they have been getting so many complaints about nothing's being covered. They don't know why anything's being covered. People are calling. Even doctors are trying to call the CEO because they realize they're not getting paid from United Healthcare either. They'll say, oh, yeah, we got this, but they're not paying for the patients. Patients are paying out of pocket to quote unquote being reimbursed, right? That's what they tell you. But patients are not getting reimbursed. And this has been going on for such a long time where you see patients having this issue with United Healthcare, even doctors, because they're not getting paid either by the insurance company, which is causing, again, and we are, like you said, in a struggling economy. So it's just causing a lot of uproar. So because of that, honestly, just to see that this happened to the CEO is really mind-boggling. Rest in peace, my condolences. However, considering what I've known about happening this year and ever since they merged and partnered with this other company, and to me, man, justice has been served. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but like that's why people are saying this is the start of a revolution, because I saw a comment that said, my condolences are out of network. Oh. I lost it because I felt that. They be so quick to tell you we can't cover this, we can't cover that. What the fuck am I paying for this insurance for? You scamming me out my money, you not paying the doctors. So and then the economy is struggling. So honestly, and you know what? I remember this so vividly. I used to work at this dental office, and I remember the doctor wanted to call United Healthcare. He wanted to speak to the person in charge.
Really?
Yes, but the person in charge wasn't who got assassinated.
Right.
At the whatever. So, he was trying to contact, and he spoke to somebody, he spoke to two people, and they were not trying to let this conversation happen. It was just weird. You know what it feels like when you're getting scanned by a telecompany? That's what it was like on the phone.
Well, they have a lawsuit that was in the works where they had accused the company of using AI to deny all the new files coming in. Which honestly, it's not far-fetched because
it's not.
Let's just say we know somebody who had a situation where, they were trying to collect unemployment and it just wasn't, something had gone wrong in the file and she was trying to contact unemployment and nobody was in office. And long story short, would it take about 9 months to get money? She took her 9 months to get her money because nobody was in office and all you got was a teleprompt the entire time. And how frustrating was that? I can imagine not getting paid and then also not working and all that stuff. So it's like, do you blame people for being upset because last year's last year, the company profited $10 million. You know what I'm saying? So while other people are struggling to not only get, barely afford food on their table because of high inflation, the pay rate is not keeping up with the times. And it's just sad. Mm-hmm. It's just sad.
Yeah, so this whole situation, going back to everything you said again, it's sad. We're in a struggling economy. And, going off of the whole AI situation, it's not far-fetched that they would do that. I've always said health insurance companies are a scam. The pharmaceutical company is a scam. Mm-hmm. Healthcare in the US is a scam. So, I'm really not surprised. And honestly, I believe the people when they say this is the start of a revolution, because what else are you supposed to do?
And I do want to acknowledge, though, that a coworker of mine had brought it up, and I think it was a great example, how I was complaining on how desensitized we are, because despite, right, the left and right have been united because we're the bottom and they're the top. So we haven't seen in a while the left and right, meaning Republicans and Democrats, right, having something in common, because at the end of the day, we're all fucking struggling down here while the rich is getting richer. The haves and have-nots, the have-yachts and the have-nots are getting further and further apart, right? So there's just this lack of empathy for the fact that this guy, in broad daylight, just fucking got assassinated. And people are like, I hope this guy never gets caught. He is Gotham's fucking savior.
He Batman.
Yeah.
Vigilante, doing what the people want.
Right. And I'm like, I get that sentiment, because it does demonstrate that there is a struggle between two, right? And when economies get hard, you're going to see shit like this, like what happened with Natalie Nunn, what happened with, because why are you fucking, we're fucking, there's people, not we, but there are people literally go on Zillow, foreclosures everywhere, and y'all just sitting there lavishly living your life. Can you expect humans to not be mad, right? Especially if you're scamming them, whatever. But he brought up a good point. It's crazy how desensitized we are, because back in the day when Columbine happened, we were so fucking shocked and hurt and couldn't believe it. Now we see a school shooting, it's like, oh, here goes another one, and it's so crazy how as a society we are so desensitized to these things, and we're just like, yeah, fuck that, that's Gotham's fucking savior, when it's like, at the end of the day, this guy just committed murder in broad daylight, walking the same streets that I walk to every fucking morning going to work, and just got away with it. It's fucking scary. That doesn't scare you as a society. That scares me. Because it's like, damn, like, what the fuck? What is going on? And then they found the book bag. Supposedly they found the book bag in Central Park with Monopoly money. The book bag he was carrying. Because they want to say that, oh, he's telling that, oh, insurance scam is a monopoly, and he's throwing these clues. In my opinion, though, I think that's a decoy. I think that the FBI is not really, I think they dropped the ball, in my opinion. This is just an opinion. I don't think they actually know where he is. I think that Mayor Adams wants to pretend he knows where he is, because
he don't want the city to panic.
He doesn't want the city to panic. They're not going to televise that it's a revolution, because they don't want you to go, they
don't want you to get
mass
amped
media.
up.
Exactly. But I low-key feel like this is only the beginning.
Of course.
It's kind of scary.
It is.
It is very scary.
It is.
And now all the CEOs took out all their information from the internet. But this goes back to the same thing again. Like, why are y'all so flashy with everything? Like, how many rich people just stay under the radar?
Yo, I love how it comes back full
circle. You saw how all of that,
There
right?
is something going on in the air, yo, and it's happening by patterns and different sequences.
Yes.
And that is
the revolution.
When you see things happening in sequences like this and different patterns with everyone, though, no matter what industry you're in, something big is coming.
Yes.
And I feel like I've been saying this, but I'm telling y'all now, something big is coming. It's not going to be good. Do what you need to do now to prepare.
Protect your money.
I sound like I'm scaring people, yo.
Nah.
But no, do what you need to do now because something is coming. Even with the election, learn what you need to learn, see how things can benefit you, and figure that shit out because the way that this world is going and the economy.
Look at all of Hollywood. There's no coincidence that it's getting literally destroyed little by little.
Yep.
Now you got CEOs from insurance company. We don't even know this man. Never heard of his name in our lives.
This assassination definitely was planned because
Oh, yeah.
how do you know where he goes to? Like, it's just, how did you know he was going to be there? And like you said, the street that he was on is safe. Nobody's there.
There is a guy that I do work with. He's a little bit off the rails, but he brought up a good point. He said, he doesn't believe that this had anything to do with this person losing somebody through the health insurance. He believes that that's all a decoy,
right?
That somebody powerful had something. Probably the CEO had something on that person who was powerful. They were scared. They hired this assassin, and they wanted to throw the FBI off by making it seem like it's
crazy.
that.
It
gets crazy.
Someone commented, "Yo, we're literally living in a movie, yo."
Somebody said this is the Netflix original
series. Somebody said it's gonna be the biggest documentary ever when it come out, yo. For real.
Yo, this shit is scary, bro. It's scary. Yeah, I get it. I just feel like, I don't know, when you commit murder, something like that, I would hope that you get caught despite whatever you stand for, right? Like, I don't know. I just would hope that our security in our country is just a little bit safer, but especially in a state where you don't have the right to carry. So, it sucks that I don't care. Like, I get it. I understand completely the gap between the have yachts and the have nots. Go to Miami, you see it in your face.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
But the fact that y'all are rooting for him not to get caught is pretty wild because imagine he gets caught and it's actually deeper than that. And there's actually someone higher power pulling the strings and it's darker and we just don't know it because our minds aren't there and we don't live that
because
world.
How did you know where he wasn't going to be?
Exactly.
It seems like you are also in that world or you know someone in that world.
He's
because
hired.
I feel like regular people wouldn't even know he was going to the conference, wouldn't know where he'd be at that exact time.
They announced it a week prior to that he was going, but this assassin guy, he was in New York City for about a week.
And a silencer at that. And like, this is crazy. This shit was planned.
Yeah, 100%. He was they caught him in McDonald's using cash prior to the shooting. Everything was cash. He went in a cab using cash. So he's been there for a job. He was there for a job.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he went there for a reason. And he knew what was happening. And he basically definitely sent the message.
I feel like, I understand your coworker's theory, which, that could be true as well, considering the environment and who you went after.
Diddy.
Right. And also just, again, but what was engraved on the bullet just also feels very community to me. Like, it just feels very like the people, you know? Like, why did you choose those? Like, there is a method to the madness, and you specifically use those bullets to shoot this man. Why? You could have used a regular. I feel like if it was a regular, you were hired by someone powerful, you could have just did that because a job is a job, right? No matter what profession you're in, if you're an assassin hired, who gives a fuck? But it was engraved with that.
Yeah, to throw the FBI off. You don't think so? I think that because
it's we the people,
and then the monopoly money. You don't think that's like
we the people? It feels very community to me. It feels like someone really smart who probably served before, who's been, in this physically, mentally, and was just tired of the fucking scams. He was tired of it. He probably got money too, he's tired of it.
It does represent a lot of people's sentiments, especially those who are in Florida, North Carolina, who pay for home insurance and are literally struggling right now to find a place to live because of what happened during the hurricanes, and they're no longer getting help. They've been forgotten. So, it does represent a community. So I don't know, but I'd love to hear what you guys think about this whole situation. What do you guys think this whole thing is? Like, just everybody, is it just the internet being the internet? Is this deeper? Do you think we missed something? I'd love to hear your opinions on this, especially on the idea that the upper 1%ers are getting targeted, which is basically what you see here in this whole conversation, right? They're getting targeted because people from the bottom are struggling, and that's what happened in the last revolution. So do you think this is the start of a revolution? Do you think that we're going to see more of these? Do you think that things are going to get better when Trump comes in? I don't know. You let me know. We'd love to hear your opinions on these things.
For sure.
I know this was a little bit of a different topic, especially with the last topic, but again, we're here. We are different than just your Zeus Network stuff, right?
Right.
We want to bring just conversation, deeper conversations, intellectual conversations. So I'd love for you guys to hear your opinions, because every opinion, can create something. Maybe we missed something,
Right. And maybe there's other points that you guys know that you guys are following up in the media that we just don't know about yet.
Right.
So,
or have you had this experience with insurance companies? And
what is your experience with United Healthcare if y'all have fucking United Healthcare?
Exactly.
Because United Healthcare is a shit show.
Yeah. So
from what I know. So
yeah.
I mean,
that being said,
where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram. That's JESSI.strange. And when can they find you, Tiana?
You guys can find me on Randomania1. You guys can find us on Instagram at the Petty Headquarters. We release episodes every Tuesday at 4 p.m., y'all. Okay? Just keep that in mind. YouTube, we're the Petty Headquarters. We are on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcast on, we are there. So definitely tune into the podcast version as well. I know you guys love watching the dynamic on screen, but if you guys are ever doing dishes on a long drive or doing something where you can't watch, just turn us on. We're there, the Petty Headquarters. And with that being said, this was your weekly dose of mess.